it is special guest time.
It is. Feel like a quick run over to Switzerland?
Sure not. Haven't been there yet.
If only. With us this morning is Rudolf Brunn, the author of Science, Art, and Christianity, Sketching a Theology of Nature for Our Time. Good morning, Rudolf. Thanks for joining us all the way from Switzerland.
Thank you. I guess your name is Rachel, if I understood this right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
and my co-host...
And I'm the uglier one. I'm Rod. Good to have you with us, sir. What a diverse thing. I see the three schools that you have taught at the University of Geneva, Indiana State University, and TCU. That's quite a rainbow of learning institutions right there.
well, I like rainbows.
As you should, yes.
They're really beautiful.
As is many things and nearly all things on our big blue marble, correct?
If you look at them properly, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Rudolph, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now call me Rudy. That's much easier, okay?
Oh, Rudy. Okay. I certainly will. Thank you. I guess what was the original impetus for putting this collection of thoughts together with God and nature and expressionism known as art?
Well, thank you for asking that question. It has to do with my curriculum vitae, vitae. You see, I grew up at the University of Basel with a professor by the name of Adolf Portmann. And this Adolf Portmann was a biologist, but he had a keen interest in art also. And so where biology and his interest for art came together is by the research he did about how organisms present themselves to the outside world, you see. And there are, of course, extraordinary organisms that present themselves in almost miraculous ways to the outside world. Not only marine snails, for example, that are very multicolored, some of them are, but in birds we might be a little bit closer to what we know. If you remember a peacock's tail, for example, or my thesis was on the feather development of the Argus pheasant, which to me is even more spectacular than a peacock tail. But you see, this kind of beauty that we see in a peacock tail, or when a peacock presents itself to the female, then one has to ask the question, where does this beauty come from? And Charles Darwin, in his thoughts, kind of reflected on that very question. And the way he came, the solution he found is to write, it is the female that has a taste for beauty, and the male kind of tries to satisfy her. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yes, it is.
It's also true at all species level. The reaction there is an equal reaction, as we know. We had a flock of peacocks when we lived in northern Nevada, and as beautiful as they were when the males would fan their tail, the rest of the time they barked like a pack of dogs.
They're very loud.
Very loud and obnoxious sounding voices. So I know why they're not singers.
Yeah, well...
It's probably music to the female's ears.
Well, yeah, you might say that, but we don't even know if that's true, do we, Rudy?
Rudy, your thoughts on music. I love where you go with this. And you say, or your thoughts on music relay that the most powerful experience in being close to God is music.
Well, thank you for that question. This is really the case. And if you would allow me to perhaps comment just for a couple seconds on the beauty in music. If you go to a symphony concert and you will then first well, we'll first see or hear the orchestra tuning, right? And then the concertmaster comes and the orchestra will tune, and then the conductor comes, and then the orchestra will start playing. And you see, if you think about what's happening here, is that all these different instruments, you know, that the tuba, the basses, the violins, the whatever else, the trumpets, and so on and so forth, all have a very different voice, all have a very different color. And when they kind of play in unison, all these different colors are there, and what you hear is really a unity in the diversity of all these instruments. And this is my view on beauty, namely beauty emerges from the unifying difference. You see, if you can make a synthesis of parts, then you can have beauty emerging from that.
I could not agree with you more.
Rudolph Brunn is our guest, and we're going to have to talk some more about this at some other time, because unless you can stay for another segment, because my question has always been to non-believers, and I'm not professing any specific religion here, but the fact that these things that are so beautiful, how could they just be arbitrary, Rudy?
Well, you know, arbitrary is a difficult concept, because if you mean by arbitrary statistics, right, then I would say statistics is very important. You know, it is one of the fundamental mathematical principles by which this world has come into existence, right? So you know, the way this world.
Let's leave it right there, and we will continue in 1 minute. Our guest is Rudolph Brunn this morning, and he is with us. Wow, from a long way away, where it's already tomorrow or something. I'm not even Friday, and this is.
This is Daybreak USA. Right. Our special guest this morning is Rudolph Brunn. We've been told to call him Rudy. Welcome back, and his new book is Science, Art, and Christianity: Sketching a Theology of Nature for Our Time. Welcome back, Rudy.
Thank you, Rachel.
I'm glad that you called back. I said a prayer that you would.
It worked.
It did work. You see that now? Wait, do you believe, like I believe, that the arts are bred into us? Because we've seen so many of these young virtuosos. I know Andre Bocelli claimed that he knew he was going to be an opera star at 3. Supposedly Mozart wrote his first concerto before he could even write music. Do you believe it's something that's given to us and it's in there somewhere and we have to search it out?
I think that is true. I really do think that, you know, but that is true for all talents. It's not only true for music or for writing or for painting or for whatever. We do have a set of talents, and when we discover what these talents really are, then we start, you know, searching for the outside opportunity to kind of feed those talents and grow with those talents and get to that what we kind of feel inside is our way to grow.
A question, and it's funny because Rod was asked the same exact question as I was going to about prodigies and gifts that were given. Where else would it come from but like a divine intervention? But you pose a question within your press releases, and that is, do we think that art is a neglected topic in today's congregational world?
Well, that...
Do you believe it is?
That I really not quite sure how to comment on this one. You know, my experience is a little bit different. I'm talking about Switzerland, of course, and I'm talking about areas I have been to. And what I'm seeing is that churches are empty more and more. I mean, not all churches, but some churches, you know, have really difficulties to attract people. And what I also notice is that art exhibits, you know, are crowded most of the time. So I would dare to say that those people that for some reason do not go to church anymore might perhaps prefer to go to an art museum and see some art. I would put it this way.
That's an interesting concept, and that means that it's still in us. Is being channeled in a different direction.
And still being attracted to beauty as well.
Let me ask you to put your crystal ball into effect here for me, though, Rudy. Do you believe that the computer is taking away from human creativity, that we depend upon it to be our brain and also our creative nerve at the same time?
Well, I really think you are right. I mean, that's certainly one dimension of these machines, namely computers. But you see, computers are a absolutely fantastically wonderful tool to see things that without computers we were never able to see. And I'm talking again mathematics here. You know, we can see details of this world, details of creation, using computers that we never ever had any imagination they would exist. Think, for example, of the Hubble Space Telescope. All right? I mean, the Hubble Space Telescope is one of those machines that is under computer control, of course. But the pictures that this Hubble Space Telescope has delivered to us, I mean, just go to NASA and see the series of pictures that they have. We have never seen creation in a way like this, you know? A supernova explosion, or this is just incredibly fantastic. And it seems to me this...
beyond fascinating, the pictures that we are getting back of our universe, and without that computerized machine, we would have never been able to have access to them. Rudy, can we go to churchandscience.squarespace.com for more of your thoughts and writings? Is that correct?
Well, of course, there are some videos there. And there are some information there how I had the chance to grow up. And let me just make that really very sure. I had a wonderful, wonderful chance in my life, and that is to come to America. You know, to come to America was for me and my family one of those gifts that you really, really, really cannot say thank you for enough. It was just wonderful. And why is America so wonderful? Because what America is trying to do is to unify diversity into unity, and that is exactly what I call where beauty emerges.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to talking to you again, Rudy. Be well. That was Rudolph Braun. Go to www.churchandscience.squarespace.com. This is Rod and Ray on Daybreak USA.
Thank you. Appreciate it.